tons of spent fuel. Okay, so there's the reactor there. There's also, that was off when the quake happened, but it's still there. There's the reactor there, that was off. That's in presumably cool shutdown. Then there's also the spent fuel pool, 130 tons of spent fuel in that pool. For reference, that's about 28% less fuel than what blew up at Chernobyl. The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission reportedly has its own experts on site at Daiichi. And even though Japan is not saying this yet, American nuclear authorities, our Nuclear Regulatory Commission today, said that the pool that those 130 tons of fuel are sitting in, that pool is dry. It's empty, which means those fuel rods are fully exposed. If that's true, those fuel rods will melt. They may catch fire. There may be an explosion, not a nuclear explosion, but an explosion that could put the radioactivity that's in that fuel into the air. Again, we think it is 130 tons of fuel there. For reference, it was 180 tons of fuel at Chernobyl. Look again at the picture of Reactor 4. It still does have sort of a roof, but not much else. So whatever is happening to those fuel rods there, there's really no containment of that really at all. It's going out into the air. There's also reportedly a concern about the spent fuel pool at Reactor 3, which is right next to number 4. We do not know how much fuel is in the spent fuel pool there, or how fresh or how radioactive that fuel is exactly. But the Nuclear Regulatory Commission today said they fear that the pool holding the spent fuel at Reactor 3 may be cracked. And that, if it's true, would pose a real challenge for trying to keep fuel rods there covered in water. If they're sitting in a pool that's cracked, how do you fill up the pool? Even if they can get water to them by fire hose or by any other means, it may be hard to keep them covered up. This video, look, this video has just started airing on Japanese NHK television in the last few minutes. It shows what we think are helicopters dropping liquid over what appears to be reactors 3 and 4. As at Chernobyl, it is the workers on site who are incurring the most risk, who are putting their lives at what may be immediate risk given the high levels of radiation on site already. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that is becoming clear about sort of the end game here, or at least the end game of these efforts. And it is a rather dire but logical calculation. What these workers are doing in trying to use fire hoses, or in trying to use helicopters dropping liquid, or in trying to reestablish power to conventional pumping systems, or in trying even to vent pressure from these reactors as they're cooled. What these workers are doing ultimately now